lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is just outside the headquarters of all that is racing in the southeastern United States. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Concord, North Carolina, where the Xfinity Series looks to put on a show even more exciting than our nail-biting 600-miler last night here at the Mile and a Half Oval, formerly known as Lowe's Motor Speedway. 2 weeks ago at Darlington Raceway, 2022 MNN Xfinity Series champion Bennett Allen returned to victory lane in this series, capturing his first checkered flag of the 2024 campaign. Meanwhile, Team Ferda drivers Mike Wright and Brandon Minto still control the top two slots of our championship point standings, but now as the summer arrives, we look forward to see other drivers turning up the heat on the competition. I'm Dave Regal here with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and I'm thrilled to be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, what an event we have for you tonight. Of course, qualifying now getting underway as we take a peek here at Cody McCorkle Wrapping things up, Kavaja Holt just went fourth fastest. Gabriel Lafreniere waiting to see a couple of other big names make their appearance tonight. Of course, we have the distinct pleasure of seeing Parker Retzlaff from, of course, the real-life Xfinity Series with us tonight. We're going to take a look at his qualifying run here as Parker going to get rocking and rolling as he comes out here onto the backstretch. He finished 14th in Saturday's Xfinity Series race. We look to see if he can dominate here as he gets wound up coming out of turns 3 and 4. Michael Witt just went 9th fastest here on the timing line as Parker crosses the start-finish line. He's going to have to contend with a 30.37 lap laid down by Bennett Allen. Of course, as I had mentioned, 2 weeks ago at Darlington Raceway. And, you know, this is kind of the cool part of the season for us here at Sim Racing Media, at least here in the SNN Xfinity Series, and really the SNN family of series. You know, we go from Darlington to, which, you know, of course is a traditional track here in the NASCAR schedule. And then we go to North Wilkesboro for All-Star Weekend, which that's where we were last week while we were off from here. And Parker just went fourth fastest, laying down a 30.49. So that 30.37 is in danger as he comes, whoa, never mind, not as much in danger as we thought it was, as he's going to nose the car into the inside wall there on the backstretch. Zach Osborne goes 11th fastest. Alexander Gangler going 22nd fastest. Tony Burt making a return here from Hedgesville, West Virginia. We're going to check in with him as he's just back from injury after he finishes his qualifying effort in the number 4, a lot cleaner Chevrolet Camaro. You know, but, you know, after North Wilkesboro, then we come here to Charlotte. And, of course, a lot of the race shops, you know, in NASCAR, whether it's, you know, Hendrick or even, you know, some of the other ones in our sport. Of course, Hendrick is just the one that's literally a stone's throw away from this racetrack, you know, is headquartered here. So let's see if we can get a hold of Tony Burt, if he's in the old chat here. Hey, Tony, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes. Hey, Dave.
Tony, welcome back to the Xfinity Series. You know, I was just telling the fans that you're just back from injury. How are you feeling, and how are things going there for the 4 team?
I feel great. Foot's 100%. Definitely wonderful. Played golf a couple times already. Everything's been good. The A Lot Cleaner Chevy is fairly fast, but it's loose. It's like a junkyard dog. If you hit it too hard, it's going to bite you.
Now, you talked about golf. How was your time down in Myrtle Beach?
It was good. It was good. I only played 2 rounds down there, but bike week was good. I did shot in the 70s both rounds, which wasn't bad. It was a little bit of adjustment with the foot. So, yeah, everything was great. Myrtle was great.
Where did you play?
I played at I played at True Blue up in down in the south end side, and I played at Prestwick actually.
Now see, I've never played Prestwick.
Prestwick's nice.
Yeah.
True Blue is long. I played at Tips, so it's pretty long.
Oh yeah. The last time I was down, I played Arcadian Shores. That place is just, it's fortunately close enough to my mom's house that it just makes it easy to get to. But, and Tupelo Bay, which is a par 3, which is nice. My best shot of my life happened at Tupelo Bay. It was just one of those, it's a blind turn. You can't see anything. And fortunately, I have a terrible slice, and I played the slice. And I landed it on the green in fabulous fashion. I couldn't believe it.
That's great.
Of course, I could never do it again if I tried.
Yeah,
listen,
you could.
We're just glad that you're back, you're healthy, and, you know, my brother is doing well. That's always my concern. I didn't get a chance to talk to you before going on the air, so instead you get a little bit of mic time here.
I appreciate it. I've been so blessed, the foot has actually, it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but I tell you, it's been nothing compared to having 10 shoulder replacements. So it's been good. Life is great.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. And listen, why don't you go out there and try to score one here for the old 4 team?
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna at least try to move up in the points and try to eke out a top 10. That's my goal.
All right, my man. Good luck.
Thank you, brother. Good talking to you. Much love.
Always. Much love to you too, sir, as we send him back on up here into the Jackdown Motorsports stable. You know, it's always nice when you get to know somebody on such a personal level. You know, I know that he's battled some medical things the last couple of weeks, but he's back to normal now. And, of course, here we are. We don't want to understate the fact that this is Memorial Day. And, of course, we want to thank all of our friends and our family who have paid the ultimate price and, for the freedom that we have and the freedom to look at somebody and say, I don't like you, or I like you. And, or you don't like what the government does, you don't like what something else is. You have the freedom to express that thanks to the people who have laid down everything in this life. So, once again, we want to tip our cap and salute those who have given it all, and of course, never forget our veterans who are here on the racetrack today, and we thank them for their service, the family members of our racers. And at this time, we will have a playing of the national anthem arranged by Jack Stamp. Again, we want to thank all those who have served, and of course, we will be checking in with some of our drivers' family members tonight on our broadcast as we go side by side with some information and a salute to those who have served. So we thank all of them. As we get ready to rock and roll here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As we take a look at our current conditions, this is probably the hottest that I've ever seen this racetrack on the iRacing.com servers. Partly cloudy, 77 degrees, the ambient outdoor air temperature if you're sitting in the stands. So get the sunscreen on, because even though it's only 77 degrees outside, that sun will rip the skin right off of you. Then the craziest thing here is the track temperature at 124 degrees. Basically, that's going to keep down a lot of the speeds for the time being, because this racetrack is going to get, slicker than a bowling alley on a Friday night that was freshly waxed. I mean, it is going to be incredible to see how loose some of these cars get. So drivers are going to have to be making some changes during the race itself as they get ready to rock and roll here. You can set that car up early, but through these 200 laps we're about to have, you're going to see a lot of changes. I mean, Brandon Minto and Anthony Savignano just go 31 seconds here during our warm-up segment of our evening, but it's going to be interesting as we get that graphic out of here. Let's take a look at our point standings. We talked about it a little while ago. Brandon Minto and Mike Wright from Team Furtis still control the points here in the Xfinity Series. And, Mike Wright has been a dominant force here in the Xfinity Series for the last two seasons, and I know that, the two of them are basically mad scientists here. But our top four remains unchanged, as it's Brandon Minto, Mike Wright, Eugenio Alonso from Jackdown Motorsports, and Mike McConville out of South New Jersey. Of course, a little bit of unrest there in Wildwood and down the shore this weekend, but he's in the JRTCR stable, as well as Nick Hansen, and Ethan Ball. So kind of an interesting mix here atop the pile. Then we see some big movers here Bennett Allen, after the win 2 weeks ago at Darlington, he hops up 10 positions to run in 27th. And, right now with his 151 points, he looks to capitalize on that as we try to pull that up. There it is. There it is, just kidding. And, right now he's only 6 points behind McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco. Ken Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania holds on to 158, just a point behind Michael Astuto. So there's a lot of tight, battling going on deeper in the stands. I mean, you can look up here and see 393 points for Minto, 384 points for Mike Wright. And that's a lot. That's 9 points difference between those two drivers and a big gap from 384 to 367 from Eugenio. But, Eugenio's out here. I mean, and when we look right now, even during the warm-up period of our evening, Eugenio's running third right now, fourth. And, Bennett Allen leading the way right now at 30.86 seconds during warm-up. So, this night is going to be filled with incredible racing by some awesome drivers here on the Sim Racing Media airwaves. Of course, Bennett Allen leads the way right now. He's going to sit on the pole position alongside Eugenio Alonso. They're going to be on the front row. Parker Retzlaff, who finished 14th in Saturday's Xfinity Series race live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, he's going to be sitting inside the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield in row 3. We see Kavaja Holt. He's going to be a threat tonight, of course, as he always is. He's going to be sitting on the outside of row 5. Eric Papineau, Daniel Moynihan there in the 53. Of course, hopefully he's dunking that donut into the coffee. And John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, he's going to be starting 25th. We're going to look at all of those in just a few moments here on Sim Racing Media, but it's going to be a full night here as we've had more drivers than we have space for them on the grid. Looks like the last driver to make it in would be Ken Ron. Looks like Rich Jet, Sam Bolin, John Bawalda, Chris Custer, Richard Pruitt, and Andrew Deemer all not able to make it in on time, which, that's kind of a good problem to have, all things considered, when here we are on a holiday to have this many drivers on the racetrack. The other side of that coin, of course, is can everybody keep their cool? Of course, we saw that last night as Parker Retzlaff just laid down a 30.69. If everybody can keep their cool, it's 200 laps long, and that's a long time to be out here, 300 miles, and, a lot of different track changes and things like that we're going to see. Drivers being called to their cars now as the warm-up is ready, and we're finally ready to rock and roll here. As Bennett Allen, Eugenio Alonso, Claude Ferland, Anthony Savignano, Parker Retzlaff, Cody McCorkle still waiting to slide in there. Bennett Allen, let's go, man. Get in the 15. We're waiting on you, boy. As, right now, 38 drivers ready to take the green flag. Drivers now sliding into their cars on the front stretch here. As it appears, Bennett Allen has finally decided to take the hint and get on in. In the number 15 B Blaze Vintage Ford Mustang. He's going to be our pole sitter tonight on the inside of row number 1. He'll be joined on the front row by Buenos Aires' very own Eugenio Alonso in the number 26 Chevrolet Camaro. Claude Ferland and Anthony Savignano from Erie, Colorado going to be in row number 2. With Parker Retzlaff and the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield in row 3. Cody McCorkle and Sylvain Jolie going to be joining us from row number 4 as Zachary Vaughn and Brandon Minto are going to be in row number 5 as Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma gets the number 12 machine all ready to rock and roll. Gabriel Lafreniere and Eric Papineau sitting in row 6 with Zach Osborne and Mike Witt in row 7. Nick Hansen is going to be on the inside of row number 8 alongside of Boston, Massachusetts' very own Daniel Moynihan in the Dunkin' Donuts number 53. Brockton Packard and Charles Eaton going to be in row number 9 with Steve Herring and Mike McConville in row 10. Keith Black and Ron Fitting Sitting back here in 22nd and 23rd, Aaron Mack going to be starting in 23rd with John Wilco and Alexander Gangler in row number 13. Corey Burkett and Dennis Mickelson starting in row 14, while Dan Morgan and Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here in the Sunday Night NASCAR Family of Racing Series. Chief Cook and Bottle Washer starting back in 30th position, so kind of a slow night for him. Trent Curtis and Tony Bird out of Hedgesville, West Virginia, they'll be in row 16, with Rich Jett and Sam Bolin in row 17. Starting shotgun on the field from pit road tonight going to be John Bawalda, driver of the number 51, as he has opted to start down there from pit road. So going to be 34 cars taking the green flag, 35 once Bawalda comes off of pit road. 200 laps the scheduled distance here in Concord, North Carolina. And folks, I cannot tell you how excited I am to get this race underway. You know, we saw a lot of excitement last night in the Coca-Cola 600. 4 guys at one point here in the broadcast booth. But tonight, you got just me here at the old microphone. And believe me, I'm excited to bring you all of this action as Bennett Allen works the inside here just behind the iRacing.com pace car, as all of these cars are going to be taking their time going down the backstretch. This will be the slowest that they move all night long. During race conditions, the track is cooled off to 122 degrees. So still incredibly hot, still incredibly slick out there as all 34 of these drivers work their way down here toward turn number 3. The iRacing.com pace car brings us into the 3-4 complex. And here at America's Home for Racing, I can only tell you how excited I am to see these drivers turn them loose as the iRacing.com pace car brings us through turn 3 and 4. The only thing that's left to do, and although that he was not a veteran, I always memorialize the great Tony Trapasso, because right now, folks, it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab a Coca-Cola popcorn, settle in. Race fans, it's show time! The green flag has flown, and so has Bennett Allen, away from Eugenio Alonso by 0.3 of a second already. They're battling each other hot and heavy early on, as it looks like Claude Ferlin trying to go side by side, all but kissing fenders with the 50. That's Anthony Savignano as Ferlin drifts up the racetrack. Oh, he makes contact with the 5 on the first lap. There goes Parker Retzlaff through the grass. We stay green flag racing. Oh my goodness, that is a terrible start here for Retzlaff. We'll see if we can get a little bit of a replay going here. Let's see if we can run this back just a little bit further, because it was a near 3-wide situation. We can see Retzlaff right there on the tail of the 43. The 43 slinks back, and for whatever reason, he dives down on the inside of Savignano, and he just keeps it coming. Savignano loosens him up on the way past the outside. Not too bad a damage there for the 5 car of Parker Retzlaff. Hopefully he can keep it moving now. As, of course, here we are working lap number 3, green flag underway as Eugenio Alonso, Bennett Allen, our race leader, leads Eugenio Alonso by now 0.7 of a second after that dust-up. So, to be completely honest, I'm incredibly thankful that, of course, we didn't have any caution flag that early in the race. But here we are now working lap number 4 of 200 on our way to lap number 45. Stage breaks tonight going to be at laps 45 and 90. And, believe me, that 45 lap, that's going to kind of be our barometer as far as our pit window as well. 5 total sets of tires for the drivers. Trying to take my vest off here. I was a little too warm. But 5 total sets of tires for these drivers, which puts our pit window somewhere in and around 45 to 55 laps, which lines up with the first 2 stages. That's going to allow them to have 3 sets of tires for that. If they do it that way, that'll enable them to have 3 sets of tires going into stage 3. Zachary Vaughn all over the rear bumper of Brandon Minto here in the number 12 Ford Mustang, that Okie Mustang, working their way down the backstretch as we go here to ride along with Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma. He looks back here to that mellow yellow throwback with Zachary Vaughn behind the steering wheel. Drivers already getting themselves settled in. We see a lot of single file racing. They know that this is a long event tonight. And, you know, to be completely honest, you don't want to sit there and get yourself, too excited too early. I think that's a lot of what happened here with Claude Ferland as he still runs up in 5th position. Parker Retzlaff trying to catch up here with the rest of the field now. And unfortunately, he and Trent Curtis have to basically get their act together and try to get caught up. The best thing that could happen right now would be a caution just to get everybody bunched back up and give Parker and Trent a chance to catch the rest of the field. But right now it seems like they're going to try to work together. Savignano suddenly having a connection issue. Anthony Savignano chasing down Cody McCorkle in the 78. It's going to go McCorkle, Savignano, Ferland, and now Benfield gets in on this. Stoney Benfield here in the 75. He's looking here to now the inside of Claude Ferland as Claude drifts up to the high side of the racetrack. That's where he was earlier as he nearly makes contact, my God, with McCorkle. Anthony Savignano now looking at the rear bumper of Claude Ferland, and it just seems like Ferland has absolutely no give a darn in who he goes after tonight. All of a sudden, from being one of the most polite drivers in our league to one of the most aggressive here in the early goings, 10 laps in. I'm not sure where this fire in the belly of Claude Ferland came from. Perhaps he's trying to get this thing over with early. Maybe somebody brought chili to the cookout today. Of course, he's not celebrating Memorial Day. He probably went to work. Bunch of suckers up there north of the border. As Stoney Benfield now works to the inside of Anthony Savignano. Savignano holding on for dear life, but Benfield going to have the edge on him coming into 1. And as they roll out of 2, it looks like Savignano's going to get a good run on Benfield in the iK9.com Toyota Supra as they rush down the backstretch. Stoney Benfield is going to have to figure out a new way to try to reload and reshape what he can do to get around Anthony Savignano. Another close battle here. Eric Papineau just behind. Papineau trying to get up and around Nick Hansen. But first, he's got to get Daniel Moynihan off of his bumper. 3 cars here battling it out for 12th position as now Eric Papineau in that Liberty number 17 Chevrolet Camaro leaves Hansen and Moynihan to duke it out here as they go fender to fender down the backstretch, nearly making contact, but they keep it clean. Now you have to wonder, does Moynihan keep it under control going into 3 as we work lap number 12 of 200? Moynihan doing his best right now in that Ford Mustang. He must be, it says, I've always heard at least, that America runs on Duncan, and apparently it's not just Sunoco Racing fuel in the fuel cell of the 53. It must be a little bit of Dunkin' Donuts Midnight Blend, which, by the way, if you like your dark roast coffee, that Midnight Blend is something special. Speaking of something special, the fine people at the Jim Beam Distillery always dripping a little extra here into the old liver juice. Ethan Ball and Aaron Mack getting ready to go at it. Just behind them, let's watch here from Mike McConville's perspective. Of course, we're going to take a look at his paint scheme later. I was breaking his stones earlier. As he looks to the inside now of Ethan Ball, he gets into the throttle awful early. That's going to put a lot of stress on that right rear coming through turn 2 as they haul it down the back shooting into 3. McConville already looking to see if he can use all of that momentum to slide up underneath the 96 of Ethan Ball as we work lap number 15. But let's take a look here at Mike McConville's paint scheme. He is in the Wawa paint scheme. Of course, he knows that I am incredibly biased toward Wawa, but this is kind of strange. I told him it's a little wild. It's Wawa in a Budweiser font. You all know how I feel about Budweiser in the first place. They can keep it down there in St. Louis. But then he's got a Steve Park fonted 1 on the side of his red car here. And it's also a Dale Jr. paint scheme. So it's kind of Bud, it's kind of Dale Jr., and it's kind of Steve Park all at once. It's different and still looking classy. You got to keep it classy, girls, that's for sure. As Brockton Packard works just over top of the 17 of Eric Papineau, we go up to this battle here. Packard trying to get around the 17, and he does. All of a sudden, the 17 just melted back into 13th position. Zach Osborne holding up the rear end of the top 10 as he chases down Zachary Vaughn in the 61. Now, the mellow yellow, and here's a pair of paint schemes that I'm just a fan of here. We've got the mellow yellow. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer to these guys here. Of course, the mellow yellow that Kyle Petty had run for a period of time on the 61, and then, of course, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Hellman's Mayonnaise paint scheme on that Chevrolet Camaro. So a pair of Chevys with some cool paint schemes. I'm loving it here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Welcoming everybody in to the youtube.com live chat. If you haven't done so already, why haven't you subscribed to Sim Racing Media? Cash videos. That, of course, the great Alexander Gangler, driver of the 8 car. And yes, Fart Snake, that is the real Parker Retzlaff from the Xfinity series. Dan Moynihan and Bobby Blazer being called out early by Young Camel. I think we need to spell check Young there, but Dan Moynihan and Bobby Blazer being called out early, but I don't see Blazer here in our standings, so I hope he's really, ready to hitch his wagon there to Daniel Moynihan, as Moynihan, of course, running here in the 53 underneath that 61 mellow yellow of Zachary Vaughn. Bennett Allen, though, has already opened up a lead to 0.8 of a second over Eugenio Alonso, as Alonso just kind of back here biding his time. He's actually in a really great position right now. He's 0.8 of a second behind Bennett. He's almost 3 seconds ahead of Claude Ferland. So, Bennett and Alonso, Alonso's keeping an eye on him, but he's keeping his distance. 20 laps in, we're not even halfway through stage 1. And Eugenio exercising incredible poise and patience here in the opening stage. Brockton Packard, as we look a little bit back further here in the 63, he looks to try to get up and around Zachary Vaughn in the 61, but Packard has to hold off Mike McConville first as McConville works the low side underneath Packard as they come out of turn 4 and through the quad oval. Looks like McConville going to have the edge there as he gets around Brockton Packard and now puts Zachary Vaughn in the crosshairs of the one machine. Dan Morgan here in the 72. He's trying to just hang out back here with Chris Claude. It looks like they have both decided to take a very conservative approach to this opening segment of the race. And John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. I have a story to tell you folks about McAdoo. For starters, very tiny town up in northeastern Pennsylvania in the coal regions. But I have a fun McAdoo story. I wish I would have had a chance to talk to John before the race, but I didn't. And all of a sudden, something wild going on, as there seems to be, I don't know if there's a storm moving across the United States, but there were some issues last night. I see it again tonight where just a couple of these drivers having some connection problems in the midst of the race. Cody McCorkle running in the 78 just behind Claude Ferland. He's starting to close in on Claude. Close in on Claude. Claude's close. As the 78 looks here to the inside, they are side by side coming down the back chute, matching one another step for step. I wouldn't say they're neck and neck, but they will be as they enter turn 3. And wow, what a launch into 3 on entry for Cody McCorkle. That's going to be hard to match for Ferland as they roll out of 4, making contact. My God. Anthony Savignano looking to the rear of Nick Hansen, as all of a sudden he's suddenly going to be under assault from Michael Witt in the 88 Oreo machine. Another Dale Earnhardt Jr. tip of the cap tonight, as Michael Witt in the 88 Oreo machine works just over top of Savignano. Obviously, there's a lot of speed locked up there in the high side of the racetrack, and if you've got big enough cojones, you can take that on the top side of this racetrack. Zach Osborne in the 16 finally gets a little bit of a breather as he looks around, but he sees Mike McConville. Here's 1-1, side-by-side, 2x2 go the Dale Earnhardt Jr. paint schemes. Hard to believe he was the most popular driver of NASCAR for, the better part of 15 years. Good Lord. What an idea. A lot of drivers reporting that their cars are not handling very well tonight. We'll take a look here at Chris Claude, who's just over top of John Wilco. Let's go right here to the in-car cam, and we'll watch his hands as he's going to run out of the front stretch and toward turn 1. Let's see how things are handling here. Oh, he is dealing with a loose as a goose race. You can hear the tires screaming against the asphalt. He is cooking the rear end there like it's a brisket in Texas here on the number 10 U.S. Army Toyota Supra. "28 laps in the books." We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on Sim Racing Media. As I want to quick pull this one up. Speaking of Chris Claude, we're going to lead off with him tonight as our veteran spotlight going to begin here with Chris as we get ready to rock and roll here. Unfortunately, what you're experiencing tonight is just the very simple fact that I'm working alone, so there's a little bit of dead air, unfortunately, but here we're going to speak about Dwight Claude. Dwight Claude is the father of Chris Claude. He served as a Specialist 4 in the Army, and he was just a newborn when he went into the Army. Chris was just a newborn when he went into the Army, but he was honorably discharged and was able to come home and spend time with his mother and he. And I know Mr. Claude is, I know that he checks in here on the YouTube feed every now and then, so we thank you for your service. And as always, we're so thankful for every member of the armed forces who keep us safe every day. So thank you, Specialist 4 Claude, and I hope that you're watching tonight, and we thank you.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we are working lap number 34. Bennett Allen, your race leader here in the number 15 B-Blaze Vintage Ford Mustang. He leads Eugenio Alonso by a second and a half, who's ahead, and Alonso is all but 2 seconds ahead of Cody McCorkle here on lap 35. 10 laps to go this time by in stage 1, as we have had a completely clean stage 1. The 61 of Zachary Vaughn starting to get a little loose coming out of turn 4. That's going to be Calamity Corner tonight. While the racetrack is this hot, it's been kind of a storyline. All of a sudden, with the sun out, 129 degrees on the asphalt. That makes things slicker than slick. I don't know if you folks have ever been, to a go-kart track and they have an indoor slick track, but that has to be what this feels like. I can only imagine what's going on in these drivers' minds as they work here through all of this mess. Looks like only... Well, it appears, and and we're under caution. We're going to check in with this and see what happened. Oh! Tony, whoa! Loose as a goose. My God, was Tony Burt, and could have taken out race leader Bennett Allen. There's Bennett Allen. We're going to run this back just a little bit further. And let's just see if we can maybe draw our own conclusions here. As we look now, here they come through the front stretch. Bennett Allen, Tony was loose, and he checked up in front of Bennett Allen. Bennett Allen gave him a nose to the rear bumper. Now it just appears, and he got him a second time, shoves him down the racetrack while Tony was just trying to check up. You can see that he's not on the throttle there for sure. The scary thing is when Tony comes back up the racetrack, and now Bennett Allen loose trying to squeeze on by him, gets pinned between Tony and the wall. But obviously not an intentional situation, as we were getting here toward the end of that tire run. So that's going to trigger some pit stops for some of these drivers. Bennett Allen, of course, going to have to cede the lead as he's going to come down, get the damage checked on the 15. I'm sure he'll be back up and ready to battle it out with Eugenio Alonso, who now takes control of the race lead with 7 laps to go in stage number 1. It's going to bring down Bennett Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, Rich Jett, Nick Hansen, Anthony Savignano, Ethan Ball, Ron Fitting, Parker Retzlaff. A lot of these drivers now we're going to see flip-flop their positions when we get to the end of stage number 1. We're going to see if we can dial up Bennett Allen as he's still sitting down on pit road. Let's see if we can get a hold of him.
Pulling away.
Hey, Bennett, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Howdy.
Hey, man, question. What seems to be the trouble, officer?
I don't know how to be nice about it. Is that a bad thing?
No, you're allowed to not be nice. It looked like maybe Tony got loose in front of you. Maybe he had to check up a little soon.
I just don't understand how you get loose in the tri-oval, man. Like, there's no way I could have predicted him doing that. I was hoping he was going to go high so I can go low, or, vice versa. And, there's no way I can predict someone lifting for a dog leg. I'm not loose in the dog leg, so he's doing something wrong. And then, so I hit him, and he comes right back across my nose, and then he doesn't even try to slow down. He just drives right back up on my door. I'm taking my sweet time and getting my damage fixed. But
Get your damage fixed. You've got another caution coming up in just a few laps. There's no sense in getting yourself all bent out of shape.
I'm just a little bit angry.
It's all right to be mad. Just
Yeah.
remember what Mr. Rogers would say. What do you do with the mad that you feel? And you shouldn't hurt other people. That's the whole point of the song.
Well, I mean, I'm not worried about being back around him just because, he's rarely up front. And it just sucks because I have a really, really fast car, and then I get act like that. So hopefully it's not that bad. I don't have any engine damage, but I'm going to feel it in the straightaways for sure. According to my spotter, I have wheel damage, so we'll just have to do what the cars that we got dealt.
All right, buddy. Well, listen. Good luck. Get your damage repaired and get yourself all cooled off.
I will. Thanks, Dave.
All right, buddy. That, of course, the voice of Bennett Allen, driver the number 15. We see him coming off a pit road now. Usually I don't like to check in with guys, while they're getting repairs done after an incident like that. But, I feel like, especially because this was the first one of the night and he happened to be the leader that was involved in this, we got to have answers. We're going to have 5 laps to go in stage number 1 when we go green flag racing. And, of course, now I have the hiccups. Thank you. Always appreciative. As Eugenio Alonso going to sit on the inside. He's opted for there. Cody McCorkle going to ride on the outside. Brandon Minto, Mike McConville, Stoney Benfield, Sylvain Jolie, Claude Ferland, Zachary Vaughn, and Aaron Mack going to be your top 10. When we go back green flag racing, of course, the top 10 positions will be awarded stage points at the end of the stage should they still be there. Of course, those stage points... Whoa! Easy there, Eugenio. I don't know what he thought he was doing, but that wasn't right, as he just made Cody McCorkle back off like a son of a gun. We're a fifth of the way through the race, and the fifth of Jim Beam is open, as Eugenio Alonso leads us out of turn 4 back down here to the start-finish line. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. The iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. We enter the Geico restart zone. Eugenio Alonso hits the loud, wow, spins the rear tires, and away we go. Cody McCorkle challenging Eugenio Alonso for the lead here in the waning laps of stage number 1. But Mike McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey said, listen, Al Alberts, we might be on the way home to Cape May later, but right now I got to get up here and score more bonus points as he gets around Cody McCorkle. And now Mike McConville runs in P2 just behind Eugenio Alonso. 3 laps to go this time by in stage number 1, as Mike McConville is now looking to try to get up here. He's got help in the form of Cody McCorkle behind him as he can get a little bit of a draft push from behind. But Eugenio is starting to run away once again with about almost 4/10 of a second lead over Mikey Mack in the one machine. Eugenio Alonso, our race leader, he's followed by Mike McConville, Cody McCorkle, Sylvain Jolie, and Brandon Minto. Stoney Benfield has kind of faded back here in the 9th position right now, but the battling is hot and heavy deeper into the field as Parker Retzlaff has now gotten himself up into 10th position as he works around Stoney Benfield in the 75 Ford Mustang. The faster pastor having to slide on back into 10th position, while Retzlaff obviously has this car dialed in once again as he's going to make a charge for the lead. 8th position now for Retzlaff, and he's about to strap on the old hairnet and see if he can serve lunch to Zach Osborne. Osborne drifts up the racetrack. So does Vaughn. And now, all of a sudden, Brandon Minto sees somebody that's faster than him, and that's not very often that we see that. Sylvain Joly holding up the 5 car. And here we are at the end of stage number 1. Eugenio Alonso, our stage 1 winner. He's followed by Mike McConville, Cody McCorkle, Sylvain Joly, Brandon Minto, Parker Retzlaff, Zach Osborne, Aaron Mack, Zachary Vaughn, and Charles Eaton. A wreck happening here at the end of stage 1. We'll get checked in on that as well as we scroll up here. Taking a look at Anthony Savignano. We see Savignano in the 50. Whoa, there was a wreck going on in front of him. There's the 88. Let's see if we can find where all of this broke loose to, because the 88 was spinning helplessly down the front stretch when Savignano bit the big one. Looks like it may have been even further forward. As I can't see, let's see, that's the 07. Let's see if we can pull up Corey Burkett from this perspective, as we're going to see if we can restart this replay here from Corey Burkett's perspective. Burkett hits the 63 in the rear, loosens himself up. He comes down, checks up in front of the 48, and the 07 of Burkett comes down here to the infield. He disappears, and there's still all kinds of mess going on the racetrack. Let's see what else was going on just ahead of him, as Chris Claude was on the high side of the 99 of Nick Hansen. He sees one wreck. He stays out of the way. He goes down for the grass. Does Chris clear him? Yes, he does. My goodness, that's not going to make anybody happy. In the rear of this field at the end of stage number 1. Needless to say, though, Eugenio Alonso, our stage 1 finisher, stage 1 winner. Let's see if we can get a hold of Eugenio. Hey, Eugenio, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave. I got you, man.
Buddy, listen, there you were dominating here at the end of stage number 1. You started to put some distance between yourself and McCorkle. What's the secret under the hood there, the 26?
I tried to save tires a lot at the beginning. The caution in the lap 1, the no caution in the lap 1 helped me a lot. And something happened with Bennett. He had a little faster.
Yeah, it looked like Bennett just kind of had a run-in with your teammate there in the 4 car. But, I mean, you know, you're going to be restarting pretty decent here in 8th position. What's going to be your strategy in stage 2?
Keep saving tire. Track is really hot, 130. It's really hot. The car is too loose. I made some adjustments to try to drive better.
All right, buddy. Well, listen.
I got really loose this stint.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck in stage 2. Hopefully those adjustments you made pay off, and we'll probably, hopefully, chat with you later here in this race.
I hope that, man. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. As we send him back on up there, we're going to go down here to Parker Retzlaff, who's going to restart. They've got a full room tonight in the JAR TCR room. Hey, Parker, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Hey, man, listen, you're going to be restarting here. You had a little bit of a run-in earlier in this race. How does the car feel since the damage?
I'm not really sure though. I had I had about a minute and 15 seconds of damage, and you know, I had a really hard struggle in that first run there with just the car had so much damage. I had I felt like I had no side force at all, and I really struggled long run there. But I got most of it fixed. I got tires. I'll have probably 4 or 5 lap older tires here when we go green, but I think I have enough speed to stay up front here and have a chance to compete for the win.
Yeah, you finished 14th on Saturday. How hot was the track, and how can you translate what you learned on Saturday here to the virtual track?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely just like it was at Charlotte, just so, you know, kind of greasy and just no grip really. I mean, you're either like sliding the front tires or you're sliding around with the back, so it's definitely like it was Saturday, just very hot and slick, and like Charlotte should be.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we see you on the other side of one of these stage breaks.
Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of Parker Retzlaff, who is going to be restarting here in the lead. He finished 14th in the real race on Saturday. He's going to be joined on the front row by Gabriel Lafreniere in what should be the 06 Oxmoor machine, but it looks like he's got the 16 on there. Alexander Gangler in the 8 car. He's going to be restarting in 3rd. Mike McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey, restarts in 4th. Cody McCorkle, Eugenio Alonso, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Jolie, Aaron Mack, and Charles Eaton make up the remainder of your top 10 as Parker brings us down the back chute. Following the iRacing.com pace car 2x2 Noah's Ark style as we come back to the start-finish line. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand as the iRacing.com pace car leads us into turn number 3. Drivers getting ready to be turned loose here for stage number 2. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road as Parker Retzlaff leads us into the Geico restart zone. Just past that Charlotte, USA logo, we hit the restart zone. Retzlaff doesn't waste any time, but he spins the tires a little bit here on the restart, but he gets himself underway pretty easily as he's going to leave Gabriel Lafreniere and Alexander Gangler in the dust. Almost 3 wide goes Mikey Mack in the 1 machine. Mikey Mack now slides his way into 4th position. He's going to have to work on Lafreniere one at a time as he's got Eugenio Alonso just behind him in 5th position. They go side by side here, does Eugenio Alonso and Cody McCorkle in the 78. They get that sorted out. Everybody trying to find the best place to park that car in single file fashion. As Charles Eaton here in the 44, making his return here to the Xfinity Series, looks to find a way, to get around the 48 of Matt White. Charles Eaton now doing his very best to hold things together here on lap number 51. Parker Retzlaff now leading Gabriel Lafreniere by about 0.8 of a second. That seems to be where everybody is able to hold it together, as all of a sudden, my goodness, Alexander Gangler chasing down Mike McConville by less than 1/10 of a second as, sliding aggressively out toward the wall is Alexander Gangler. Watch Mike McConville here as he's going to work underneath Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06 Oxmoor machine. Once again, we're used to seeing Lafreniere in the 06. Tonight it's the 16, and that's fine. We'll figure it out. That just means we have 2 16s out on the racetrack as Mike McConville runs past Gabriel and now has to put Parker Retzlaff in the crosshairs. 2 teammates getting ready to go at it in just a few moments here. He already trails him by 0.7 of a second. That's going to have to, shrink down substantially for McConville to get caught up in that draft. Eugenio Alonso battling it out now with Alexander Gangler for 5th position now, and Gangler just kind of melting away like a snow cone, slides in behind Eugenio Alonso. Brockton Packard in the 63, he works underneath the other number 16, driven by Zach Osborne, almost going 3 wide with Claude Ferland sniffing around here. It looks like Ferland wanted to come up there, thought better of it after the last time he was in a 3 wide situation. Things didn't go so well for him. But now the 16 of Zach Osborne gets single file. We take a look here at the 75. The faster Pastor Stoney Benfield right now running in 16th position. Seems to be a common threaded number tonight. I'm not into numerology, but I'm certainly into finding similar things, if you will. As Rich Jett here in the double natural tries to get around Daniel Moynihan. He does for the time being, as it seems like Rich Jett has found some speed here on the high line. He's going to get a great exit out of turn 4 and back onto the front stretch as he heads toward the quad oval. Now the 17 of Eric Papineau tries to get around Daniel Moynihan in the 53. Taking a look here at our YouTube.com live chat. I want to welcome everybody in tonight. The Allen Experience says what a grueling race it was last night. And he would not be wrong as Allen was hanging out. We had 4 people in the broadcast booth last night to carry the load, and I appreciate every bit of effort from my teammates here at Sim Racing Media. Of course, it always helps when you like hanging out with your friends, and that we do very well. As don't look now, but Mike McConville suddenly thinks he's going to go after Parker Retzlaff. McConville, side by side, he can see the whites of the eyes in Retzlaff's face as they work into turn 3. Nearly making contact, but they keep it clean here through the front stretch. Mike McConville keeping it clean for the most part as they are dueling it out drag racing style. John Force couldn't pull that kind of action off. As now Mike McConville is your race leader here on lap number 58. We're working our way toward lap number 90 as Mike McConville just blew right past Parker Retzlaff, his teammate here. And now Cody McCorkle in the 78 looks to get in on the dance as well. He runs in third position. Still green flag racing here on lap number 58. Just one caution for cause so far. So that's not a bad thing at all. So 3 JAR TCR drivers up atop this pile. Early on in the goings here. We're not at halfway yet. We're just past a quarter of the way in this race. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth here on a Memorial Day. And, I do want to make sure that we check in with, speaking of Memorial Day, with some of our veterans and, of course, those who have paid everything. And suddenly I hear somebody dropping into my broadcast booth. Who is that? Alan Bergen making an appearance. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, buddy? Look,
well, I gotta be honest with you. We're working lap number 60 here of 200, and after last night's performance, I can't believe some of these drivers even have arms left to steer.
But hey, look, iRacing is a drug that you just can't get off of. They need iRacing Anonymous, right?
Just don't send me to AA. That would really ruin my evening.
Hey, real friends tell you to keep drinking.
That's true. I only have a problem with alcohol if the bottle's empty. Taking a look
You
here
and
at
me
Sony
both,
Benfield,
buddy.
the faster pastor, he's going to work his way right on by Alexander Gangler. Gangler didn't come in at the end of stage 1. He had come in just a few moments before, and it doesn't seem to be paying off for him all too well right now as he is just melted through the standings. Started up in the top 10 and now has slid all the way back here into 15th position. He's exchanging spots now with Rich Jett as Gangler falls into 16th position and into the clutches of Eric Papineau.
Yeah, this has been a really good race so far, and I'm with you, Dave. I don't know how these guys have arms left, or even the strength or focus to even do another 200 laps here after doing 400 last night. These guys are maniacs.
Maniacs they are, but one thing we need to remember is that here it is on Memorial Day. We're going to step aside now and recognize William Wilkerson, who, of course, is the grandfather of Corey Harville. William Wilkerson brought to us by Corey Harville here. He was a World War II veteran, and William served as a scout during World War II, during which he severely was injured by a landmine, resulting in the loss of multiple fingers on both hands. William then led a quiet life at home with his wife Kathleen, becoming a father to 4 children and living to see 4 more generations of family who loved and adored him. William passed away 10 years ago at the age of 94, leaving behind a legacy that will not be forgotten. And here is a picture of William Wilkerson, of course, what I assume to be the grandfather of Corey Harville. And, whether you give up your life or your fingers or whatever the situation is, that's a sacrifice for this country, and we need to remember all of those who served in our armed forces. So thank you, Corey, for bringing us the story of William Wilkerson. We appreciate that, and, of course, we know that you miss him every day.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As that's still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dave Regal, and in a surprise move, Alan Bergen slides into the broadcast booth. Mike McConville leads this race right now, 0.8 of a second over Eugenio Alonso. We want to thank everybody for tuning in on the YouTube.com live chat, as always. Going to keep an eye here on Gabriel Lafreniere, who he's now just working underneath Parker Retzlaff. Yes, that's that Parker Retzlaff, as we work lap number 77 on our way to lap number 90. Alan, what a race we have.
Yeah, I mean, look, this has been pretty, uneventful, starting out, but hey, look, anything can happen. We got to one caution at the, for cause there, and that was unfortunate for Bennett Allen, but hey, Dave went to crew chief mode and cheerleader mode and said, you know what, you got this. Go get your repairs and calm down a little bit. But right now we're watching a battle between Charles Eaton and, the faster passer. Stoney Benfield's getting in on this too. Up 25 spots just outside of the top 10 and knocking on the top 10. But this right here, this battle for essentially the 10th position, maybe even 9th, that's what our live timing score deems as the most exciting thing going on the track right now. Is everybody's minding their P's and Q's. And essentially just, taking it easy, not getting too hasty through the middle part of this race. And like we talked about off air, we're surprised that a lot of these guys are able to do 600 miles last night, turn around and do 200 more laps, which equals out to about 300 or so miles tonight.
Just got back from the bar here. It looks like Stoney Benfield working just behind the 08 of Sylvain Joly, as of course now he gets stuck behind a billboard. But the faster pastor now working here on lap number 80, about 10 to go here in stage 2. Whoa, loose as a goose is Zachary Vaughn in the mellow yellow Chevrolet Camaro. A lot of these drivers, and I've talked about it earlier tonight, Alan, is they're all dealing with a crazy amount of heat right now in the asphalt. It has done nothing but go up. It's now up 11 degrees since the drop of the green flag. 133 degrees in the asphalt.
133 degrees, but hey, guess what? It's still a Chamber of Commerce type of day. And, I could fry an egg on 133 degree asphalt, so, you can keep that.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm going to pass. That's a whole lot of heat and a whole lot of asphalt, 1.5 miles around this beast. As now the 31 of Aaron Mack looks to go door handle to door handle with Zachary Vaughn down the back chute. As Zachary Vaughn looks like he's almost bouncing down the back chute. There's definitely some bumps there down that way, and somehow these drivers are managing to keep it together. Rolling out of turn 4, they go side by side. As all of a sudden, Aaron Mack going to steal away 12th position from Zach Vaughn as they cross the start-finish line. But Zach Vaughn says, not so fast, my friend. As
not Zach so Vaughn fast at all.
Zach Vaughn not going to be put to bed early tonight here in Charlotte.
Whoa, hello, hi. Mellow yellow car, the 61 car of Zachary Vaughn got just a little bit loose coming off of turn 2 there as he goes side by side down in the 3-4 complex. And once again, Rich Jett is right on his tail, and it's kind of forcing the issue a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, Rich Jett's definitely not just hanging out, to see what goes on with his friends here as we work lap number 83. But don't look now. Mike McConville is just a little bit more than 0.2 of a second ahead of Matt White. Matt White has gotten the 48 up here, and he's almost dead even, 0.1 of a second away from the front nose of Mike McConville, as McConville just throws a block in front of him coming through the quad oval down toward turn 1. Now Matt White looks to try to get around him once again as we come through turns 1 and 2. He gets off the throttle, and now when he gasses it coming out of 2, this is where we're going to see if he's got enough. And right now, not so much, as the Wawa number 1 Chevrolet Camaro has command of this race on lap number 84.
Well, yeah, Mike McConville, a good driver. Wawa, your favorite gas station. And now he's, taking command of the race here.
Now,
out of turn number 4.
I was breaking McConville's stones earlier, and I'll clue you in on this. I called it a trisexual car because it's got the Dale Jr. paint scheme from the DEI days. It's got Steve Park's stylized number 1 on the side, and Wawa is, of course, fonted like those people that make the water that tastes like urine. Nope. Nope. Not even going to do it.
I tell you what, Dave, I did find some Yingling here in St. Louis.
What did you find down there? Did you find lager or flight? Because that seems to be what's being shipped around.
It was lager. It was brown. It was a burgundy box.
Burgundy box, that is traditional lager. Now, keep in mind that that's traditionally brewed lager. Yingling didn't brew that in 1829. They actually brewed a porter beer. But Yingling's traditional lager was started to be brewed again in 1985 when Dick Yingling, the current owner of the brewery, took over and took the helm there. And he really, first of all, he's a college-educated man, unlike, his father and grandfather and great-great-grandfather before him. But, he took some marketing classes, figured out how to sell a lot of beer in a short period of time, and became a juggernaut, unlike these clowns from that town that we shouldn't speak of.
Hey, look, I have an idea. I'm willing to go live on YouTube with the after. I'm willing to go live on YouTube and drink a Yingling, just so I can say I have one.
I will make a deal with you. If you come to Miami, and I know that that's kind of in limbo, but if you come to Miami, I will drink a Budweiser and you will drink a Yingling, and we'll find out which one of us doesn't throw up first. I'm guaranteeing it'll be you. Because Yingling is just the sweetest amber liquid out of the hills of Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and Anheuser-Busch's urine water.
Well, hey, funny you should mention that because next week the SNN Stacy Strong Cup Series comes to Worldwide Technology Raceway.
And don't get me wrong, when we're there in the shadow of St. Louis, I'll be talking about it, but other than having to talk about it because we'll be in St. Louis, it's kind of like, if I'm here in North Carolina, I don't talk about that red, white, and blue soda logo. I still only bleed red and white. As we get ready to, speaking of red and white, Mike McConville in the one machine crosses the start-finish line. He's got Matt White all over his bumper. Brockton Packard chasing down Charles Eaton, but making contact now, bumping him out of turn 2 is Matt White. In an aggressive mood as they come down the back chute. All of a sudden, Matt White makes... Oh, my God, he's going to spin him out of the way.
He's dirt tracking it, buddy.
Wow. Mike McConville just dirt tracked his way to holding on for dear life. Matt White bumps and runs him like the old days of Dale Earnhardt Sr. They cross the start-finish line. Matt White, our Stage 2 winner, my God. While we wait for the caution flag to fly, let's take a look here at Mike McConville. Here they go once again. There's the move. And McConville manages to hold on to the one. My God.
Look, if you're Mike McConville... A little bit of
shipping this on race radio right now.
If you're Mike McConville, you're not even mad. You're impressed.
No, Mike McConville is mad. He's mad. I know this guy. He's from South Jersey. And remember, people from South Jersey, the 215, Philadelphia, we don't get mad, we get even. And Mike McConville, if I was Matt White, I would be running for my life. Matt White brings home the green and white checkered flag at the end of stage number 1. He's followed by Mike McConville, Eugenio Alonso, Cody McCorkle, Gabriel Lafreniere, Parker Retzlaff, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Jolie, Charles Eaton, and Stoney Benfield rounding out your top 10, who will all be awarded those stage points. And maybe a little bit of a look at this. Look at these two. Bad things are going to happen. In the words of Steve Irwin, that's bad news.
Well, you say that, and we're going to have wholesale pit stops here at the end of the stage, too. But
sure will.
My God.
You can't get this many pit stops at a BJ's Wholesale Club as Matt White slides into the box. We're going to get a chance to talk with Matt White after his pit stop because I've already been scolded for talking to guys too early. Bunch of divas around here. Of course, I say
Can't make
that.
them happy.
I get some diva in me. I'm looking for Matt White, and I do not see him. Guess he's too good to hang out in Discord.
I mean, we could go with the other half of the
There
conversation.
He is. I found him. Hey, Matt, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 100%.
First thing I need to do is I need to congratulate you on, of course, you know, the green and white checkered flag here at the end of stage 2. What a great win for you. I know that you were hanging out harassing McConville for, you know, more than a dozen laps. But the next question I got to ask you is, are you crazy?
A little. I mean, you know, it kind of is what it is there. I mean, yeah, we're definitely faster than a lot of these guys. You know, and I know that going in. I just wanted to get the interview with you, honestly. Yeah, so same as last year. Oh, we got one spinning here on the front stretch. But yeah, so just trying to, you know, build some good stuff this time around, and we got some good guys behind us, and you know, I'm definitely very fast this week.
Well, fast you are, but, you know, that was a pretty aggressive move. If I were you, I'd be thanking my lucky stars that McConville held on to it. I mean, there's a couple of drivers in this league that I would be willing to try to give the old bump and run to. McConville's one of them because of his skill. But if I were you, I would be terrified because at this point, I'm sure you're aware, there's a target on the bumper there of the 48.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the going into 1 and 2 was planned. You know, because, I mean, I was definitely had a bunch of runs, and I was kind of giving it to him there. Going into 3, I think it was just, I didn't think he'd expect me to ride him tight going into the corner. And then I don't know if it was net code on, can't tell, and I don't know when spotting for me. So, you know, it's like I have to do what I got to do. I got to ride the car a little higher into the corner to get the best run off. You know, I was definitely better in 3 and 4 than he was. And, you know, he can be mad if he wants. If not, that's okay. I definitely know that I got the stuff to go long run, though, so we're all good.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations on the stage 2 win. You got one stage left, so buckle up, get them done, and get ready to turn it loose.
All right, 10-4. We'll have a good time here. So.
All righty, as we're going to move him back up into his race chat. Here, I thought he was pulling the old diva mode and didn't want to be in Discord, but it turns out he was just in a different room that I wasn't expecting him to be in.
Well, if he didn't have any friends, he certainly didn't make one out of the one card.
No, McConville cannot possibly be happy, and if he is, I'm having McConville's head checked. In fact, I'm going to grab him. I've only got one left here before going back green flag racing, but I feel like this... Oh, nope, we're going to stay this way. Mikey Mack, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, Dave, how we doing, buddy?
Listen, I'm doing good, but, you know, all of a sudden it looked like you were running the old dirt track show there, holding on for dear life. What was it like there in front of Matt White when he gave you the old bump and run, okey doke?
Well, I'm just going to say this. That man runs for a certain team that doesn't exactly have the best reputation on this service, so I was expecting that kind of stuff. And he can bet that he's going to get it back when the time comes.
Listen, I already told him, I said, guys from South Jersey, Philadelphia, we don't get mad, we get even. And I know that there is a target on the back of the 48 for you.
That's right. I race how I get raced, and he just opened the door for all-out warfare.
Great. Pandora's box is open, and we can't get Genie back into the friggin' bottle.
Shots fired.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. What's going to be your strategy here in stage 3?
Run as hard as I can.
All right, man. Sounds like South Jersey's very own is full send.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way, pal.
Appreciate you, brother.
You know what, Alan? Now, I've called this league now for the last 3 years. Of course, I called this league after coming out of the car and deciding I was awful as an Xfinity driver. And this is pre-SRM days. I have been with this league since I was just a driver trying to, try something different. I've been watching these guys turn into probably the best drivers on iRacing, developing into the league that they are now. I mean, here it is, a Monday night, it's a holiday, and they drop the green flag with 38 drivers.
This league does better than a lot of leagues out there. And actually, here's an interesting tidbit for you. Last night, we did better on iRacing than the real-life race did as far as quality of racing goes. So, anyways, as we come back down to get ready to go back to green, you got McConville, White on the front row. And you heard it, ladies and gentlemen, McConville is going to be all-out war for, let's put this way, he's going to give Matt White a hard time.
Yeah, Matt White is not Mike McConville's pal right about now. You see how he's even hanging back there by about a half a car length? He just wants Mike McConville to run away for a moment. Go ahead, get your laps in. I don't want any problems. That's what he says. Race radio's getting chippy, though. 96 laps in the book. We're just about halfway as the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Mike McConville coming into the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and is away like a shot out of a cannon.
Adios. And there we go. And just like you said, Mike McConville is going to start running away. Eugene Alonso, though, is going to get pursuit there. And, then you got Parker Retzlaff there in that number 5 car right there in 3rd position. And Eugene Alonso's like, I do not see. I'm going to get you. I'm going to come after you.
Well, keep in mind that, a little bit of aero push, and Parker Retzlaff just wiggled Alonso out of the way without even touching him. This is the difference between an amateur in his boxer shorts and a professional in a fire suit. Parker Retzlaff, who finished 14th in Saturday's real-life Xfinity Series race, is now chasing down his teammate, Mike McConville. And, if you're Mike McConville, you look in the rearview mirror, you see your teammate, you're like, you know what? Suddenly, I don't feel near as upset as now Matt White has dropped back into 4th position. Brandon Minto, who we usually don't see struggling this late in the race, and when I say struggling for Brandon Minto, I mean, you got to remember, he's our points leader. He's running in 7th position right now, which is kind of unlike him, as Norman, Oklahoma's very own Brandon out here running. In fact, where's Uncle Scott? Uncle Scott, get in the YouTube.com live chat. We're missing you. Have you heard the legend of Uncle Scott yet, Alan?
I have not heard the legend of Uncle Scott.
The last couple of years, when I get a chance to interview Brandon Minto, and I feel like there was at least a good 8 weeks in a row that I was interviewing Brandon, he would always give a shout-out at the very end, because I asked you before we cut you loose, right? He would always give a shout-out to Uncle Scott, who's drinking Miller Lights and cheering him on, where Uncle Scott lives. And I forget where Uncle Scott lives. Forgive me, Jim Beam. So, finally, out of nowhere, I see Uncle Scott appear in the YouTube.com live chat earlier this season, and I about had kittens. I was like, oh my God, he exists. And there's Uncle Scott hanging out with us. So listen, Uncle Scott, get up in there. Let us know you're cheering your boy on. It's lap 101. We got 100 of these things to go. We're past the century mark here on Sim Racing Media. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. 75 viewers already, Alan, which is kind of small for this league, but still pretty good for being a holiday Monday.
I mean, look, there's a lot of things that factor into the viewership here, and one of them is a holiday. But, people will go back and watch this back, and, that's the good thing about YouTube, right? You can dive in and dissect your race and hope for the best for next week.
I'm getting reports of storm damage in northern Schuylkill County, so hopefully everything's all right with with John Wilco. I just happened to see this on the old feed here. So hopefully John Wilco's all right up there. In fact, let's see where John is. Running in 26 right now. It doesn't look like he's having any connection issues at this moment. But we'll obviously be keeping a close eye on that. Speaking of Schuylkill County, what a fun time yesterday. And I know that you heard the story last night, but perhaps there's somebody who hasn't heard the story yet. I got a chance yesterday to meet an 18-time Grammy winner. 18-time Grammy winner sitting in the front seat of the truck on the way to the Lakeside Ballroom in Barnesville, Pennsylvania. Jimmy Sturr is an 18-time Grammy winner for polka music. Insert laughter here. Literally, see, look, Alan can do it on demand. But 18-time Grammy winner. So here's what happened. So I'm working this event for 105.5 WMGH up in Lansford, Pennsylvania. We were celebrating the 50th anniversary of our longest tenured show host. His name is Polka Joe. 50 years for Polka Joe on the radio. And, we had two bands that were scheduled to play. The Pennsylvania Villagers were supposed to be from 1 to 3, and then from 4 to 7 was supposed to be Jimmy Sturr and his orchestra. 18-time Grammy winner, Jimmy Sturr. So anyway, so it's getting a little later in the afternoon, and we don't see the bus. And finally, the station owner gets a phone call from Jimmy Sturr, from his bus driver, basically explaining, hey, our bus broke down. We're in Scranton, and we're still trying to get to you, but we're having some trouble. So myself and a fire chief, and his brother, from both of them from McAdoo, Pennsylvania originally. One of them is the fire chief in McAdoo, Pennsylvania. Says, "Hey, we'll help you out." So I hop in one truck. He gets in the command vehicle for the McAdoo Fire Company, and a Suburban, and the three people take off to go up to Scranton to rescue Jimmy Sturr and his orchestra. Now I had said, earlier in the day, to my boss at the radio station, I said, look, I've always wanted to meet Jimmy Sturr. He seems like a really cool guy. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I'll get a handshake, maybe a selfie, and thanks for being a weirdo kid, now get out of here, right? I didn't think that I'd be riding with this guy as he's riding shotgun next to me for the entire hour ride back from Scranton after we rescued the band and their equipment and the bus driver, everybody. It was just such a surreal experience, and it's something that I couldn't have experienced without sim racing media and the things that we do here. And, because without this, I wouldn't have the radio experience. I wouldn't be involved in doing what I do. But just a really cool time to be riding in the truck on the way back from Scranton. And the irony is, in the movie Home Alone, Catherine O'Hara plays the mother, of course, Mrs. McAllister. What city was she in when she meets John Candy and the Polka Bums from the Kenosha Kickers?
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
They were in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And all I could think of was, yep, there we are playing, Deck the Halls on a clarinet on the way back to Barnesville. Just a really cool, very surreal event. And I laugh about some of the stuff that I do on the radio because sometimes it's a little, the news day might be a little slow on a Friday when I'm getting ready to record the news, so you have to figure out what to read. You have to find something and make it sound interesting, or a football game that turns into a complete blowout, which happened between Shenandoah High School and Marion Catholic, where Shenandoah was hosting their homecoming game, and I was there to cover it, and it turned into a complete blowout. But, so you have to make that sound interesting. But to be able to say, hey, sat next to an 18-time Grammy winner, the parenthetical part of that statement is for polka music.
And that's the thing, too, Dave, is, is polka music not really, mainstream so much anymore as it was back in,
what do you mean?
The early days.
It's on my Amazon playlist.
Well, yeah, that can get as mainstream as you want, right? So it's kind of like me with ska music, right? A lot of people don't listen to it.
I don't even know what it is.
You remember the days of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on PS1?
Yeah.
Okay, that's That's the band.
Oh, okay. All right. I can go with
Superman. Yeah. So that's the band called Goldfinger. Very
Huh.
good.
That's also the name of my. That's also the name of my proctologist.
Let's see here. Another band I listen to, and Mattler listens to this band too. The Real Big Fish. Very
Now,
good album.
Is that related to the band Fish?
No. Not the crappy stoner band. No, Real Big Fish is a ska band. I got to see them here in St. Louis a couple of times, and then let's see, got the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, who are from Boston.
I would hope so. It would be awkward if they were from Poughkeepsie.
Right. Let's see here. Another ska band that I like. Less Than Jake.
While you come up with more ska band names, I'm watching the 16 here of Zach Osborne chasing down Dennis Mickelson in a little bit of a throwback paint scheme. My goodness, what a hornet's nest. Now, you got to remember, and I'm not trying to change the subject completely, but you got to remember, we're here in Stage 3. There is no more scheduled pit stops on the horizon here. And whoa! Now, that was almost netcode. Did you see how close they were? And it looked like two magnets with the same polarity.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is some of these guys, they race with each other so much, Dave, that some of these guys just can't get away from each other.
I used to have that with Brian Tarnowski. When I first got into this league, Brian Tarnowski and I were attracted to each other like magnets. It was insane.
No matter where he was, you just couldn't get away from him.
We qualified near each other. We raced near each other. We wrecked near each other. We finished near each other.
Well, Parker Ratzliff is diving off on the pit road here to get his pit services for one last time.
I don't know if it's going to be one last time. There's still 85 laps to the end. He's definitely off schedule. I don't see what he's doing down here.
He might be short pitting. He might be coming in now in hopes that there's another caution.
I don't see him being timed on pit road. I think he may have had an issue as getting out of the car.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on him. He's been down there for 1 minute 12 seconds, so obviously he's taking himself out of contention. But Mike McConville leads this piece by 0.7 of a second ahead of Eugenio Alonso and Gabriel Lafreniere. Alan, you picked a good race to come into. I mean, this league already is incredible to watch every week.
Well, I like the truck race too, but, hey, I'm over on Racers Elite and checking out their truck racing, and their season's drawn to an end. And, Thursday night, you're on the Racers Elite broadcast while me and the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, John and Leach, are both racing. So, and they're at Iowa this week, so closing out the season there. And
is what you do called racing?
Hey, look, they did the Coke 600 a couple weeks ago, and Mike and Sam were on the call for that one, and Sam had me wrecking out, and I told Mike, I said, you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm finishing that race. And I did. I was 26 laps down, but I still drove it across the line.
Look, 26 laps out of 400 is fine. You still did a heck of a job trying to get it back home.
Well, as we said at the Faster Pastor is making a move there on the 63 car, Brockton Packard. And he's on the inside, Kitty, hold the line. And these cars, change the subject again, these cars are not forgiving once they get through the middle of a fuel run.
No, in fact, Stoney Benfield right now running in 8th position. He's starting to chase down Norman, Oklahoma's Brandon Minto. Minto here holding about a 0.2 of a second lead over Benfield as the Faster... apparently somebody wants to go drag racing up my street. The Faster Pastor holding on to all things considered just to get up here. You have to wonder if he's going to be picking them off one at a time or if he's waiting for Aaron Mack to maybe give him a little bit of an aero bump here. as we work lap 121 of 200. Sylvain Joly chasing down Eric Papineau. Sylvain Joly working the high side. There's a lot of speed up there, but you got to be able to, first off, you have to have nerves of steel when you're on that high side because you can't get off the throttle all the way, but you've got to get on the throttle early enough to make an incredible exit, which Sylvain just did and got around Papineau.
Yeah, Sylvain, I haven't watched him very much, but from what I've seen, he's not doing that bad of a job, really. So, as we're watching him work on the 15 of Bennett Allen, recovering quite nicely, up 20 spots after that incident that he had there at the end of stage 1, where I forget who it was, but he checked up right in front of Bennett Allen, and Bennett Allen had nowhere to go, and that's when Dave Regal goes into his Dr. Phil type mode and calms you down and has that voice of reason.
That's what somebody called me. In fact, where is Dragon Saran? Haven't seen him in the YouTube.com.
Whoa, hello, the faster.
Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Make sure that you let us know in the YouTube live chat who you're pulling for tonight, who you're watching, what's going on. You have to forgive me for my silence. I was looking at an emergency work order that turns out not to be an emergency, so they're on their own. As Eric Papineau runs just in front of Claude Furland. Claude Furland and Chris Claude, I got to be careful with because, I don't want to get them confused. Claude's from Tennessee and Furland is from Canada.
I blame a lot of car problems on Canada.
Eric Papineau right now. Eric Papineau almost sounds like he's from Canada.
But he's not.
I know. Can you imagine how, it's kind of funny. We're sitting here celebrating Memorial Day, yet there's a couple of Canadian drivers in here that have no idea that we celebrate it down here. What does Canada use as their unofficial start to summer?
The calendar.
I guess they just have to wait.
I guess so. But is it really ever summer up there?
Yeah, they don't have like perma snow. Like it's not like, Russia.
Sure. Well, you say that, and now I'm curious on what.
You know what? Go ahead and look that up while we take a look here at Mike McConville as he's about to be under assault from Matt White in the 48. Matt White coming through turns 3 and 4. Just behind Mikey McConville. Mikey Mack holding on to the race lead right now as he's about two-tenth of a second ahead of Matt White. And you can bet dollars to donuts, as the great Chris Evans would have said, that McConville's about to make that Chevrolet Camaro 4 wide all by his lonesome. As, Matt White is going to have to wrestle that position out of McConville's cold, dead hands. Brandon Minto runs the 12 machine right now out of Norman, Oklahoma. He's in 7th position. Sonny Benfield runs in 8th. Aaron Mack now dropping back to 10th behind Brockton Packard as they're back here exchanging positions. And you know what? Side-by-side racing in a place like this, it's got some potential to do some good stuff as they wiggle their fingers at one another and drive on. Bennett Allen in the 15 on his recovery drive. Currently running in 11th position, and that's going to be a big threat for McConville. Of course, Bennett had some damage early after a run-in with the 4 machine, and now, speaking of which, the 4 machine running in 27th position, about 4 laps down. But Bennett Allen going to have a hard time getting through all of this traffic out, without at least one more caution to bunch things back up, as we're going to be 70 to go next time by.
70 to go, and I've got an answer for your question.
Oh, thank goodness, because I'm dying to know.
Here we go. So Victoria Day is a federal holiday, Canadian public holiday, actually observed on the last Monday preceding May 25th to honor Queen Victoria, who is also known as the Mother of the Confederation. The holiday has existed in Canada since 1845, originally on Victoria's natural birthday, which is May 24th. It falls on Monday between the 18th and the 24th inclusively, and so it's always it's like a floating holiday. Monday as of May 20th in 2024 and May 19th in 2025 is the official start of summer in Canada.
So let me get this straight. They're celebrating Queen Victoria, a woman who no longer rules that country, right?
10-4.
All right, well then I think we're going to start celebrating King George III Day.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I mean, we're going to celebrate it. King George III, of course, was the King of England when we were the original 13 colonies. So why don't we just celebrate him while we're at it and say, "Oh, we're just being happy about summertime being here." Look, they could very easily, the Canadians could have their own Memorial Day, but instead they want to celebrate a dead queen that no longer rules them. That's fine.
I mean, everybody needs a hobby, right?
I don't even know. Did I just unofficially declare war on Canada?
You did.
I don't even know if the Canadians have ever declared war on anybody, really.
All I know is we're like the older brother that if you pick on Canada, we have to fight you too.
Canada is a loft apartment above a really great party.
I don't disagree with you on that one, but I can tell you right now, Bennett Allen would really love to be not on the loft, which can be the high side of the racetrack, and he's just running his own line here on lap 33 of 200 laps here. And there is the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, who made his Racers Elite debut last week, or a couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact. I was really excited when I saw Stoney check in there, and I was like, oh my God, the faster pastor's here too. And for me, it's exciting to be able to bridge those gaps and to fill in the blanks, because for some people who are watching the Racers Elite Xfinity, Cup Series, they've got to be like, who's this guy Stoney? And I can fill him in. Now, we look just behind Stoney, and the 77 of Rich Jett is our biggest mover of the race at the moment as he's up 28 positions. Eric Papineau right now working over top of Charles Eaton, but Rich Jett in the 77 getting ready to chase down Stoney Benfield in a battle for 7th that is sure to be exciting as we're here on lap 135. Side by side, fender to fender, out of turn 4 goes Papineau and Eaton, and this time it looks like Eaton going to be the victor of that battle. Rich Jett still trying to chase down Stoney Benfield here in 7th position. Battles breaking out all over the racetrack as Aaron Mack in the 31 is having to hold off Bennett Allen.
Oh, man.
Oh, my. This is going to be one of those days.
Well, I can tell you right now, earlier we spoke of you being a magnet with Brian Harnowski, Mike McConville, and Matt White have been nothing short of being glued together.
It's very true. Aaron Mack right now leading Bennett Allen by about 1.3 seconds. McConville now has Matt White about 0.2 of a second behind him. 136 laps in the books. And we're starting to close in on that 50 to go mark as we cross the start-finish line. Mike McConville out of the JAR TCR stable having to hold Matt White off, who's a lone wolf right now in this league. As Daniel Moynihan chases down Charles Eaton now. None of these drivers are willing to give up any real estate, and I don't necessarily blame them, but my goodness, they've got to start thinking with their head because bad things are going to happen as we go on board now with Daniel Moynihan. He's chasing down Charles Eaton, and Eaton is starting to gap him by 0.3 of a second.
This is where I would be multiple laps down. But you can see Moynihan is on that high side, making it work. I mean, you live by the cushion, you die by the cushion. You live by the high side, you die by the high side, right?
Absolutely. Well, listen, he is. If America runs on Duncan, Daniel Moynihan is running on Duncan Midnight.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. These guys like, Alexander Gangler, they were... Look, they did 1,200 miles over the weekend, and now they're here doing, another, 300?
It's fine.
300, 200?
It's fine.
It's fine. Hey, look, I remember
a lot of these
back
drivers
in
over the
February.
last week have driven more than 1,000 miles.
I remember back in February when I called 1,000 miles of racing. You're like, you need a hobby.
Oddly enough, this is your hobby.
Oddly enough, yeah. Everybody's got a hobby. I tell my wife all the time, and I love her to death. I said, look, at least I'm just down in a basement and not, out causing a ruckus.
I feel like causing a ruckus for you is just going to the bathroom. That's absolutely true. I mean, you may be on here every night of the week, and I'm sure that she's got to be bored up there without you. But at the same time, you're not out. You're not, at a bar causing problems. You're just having a good time on a Monday night here with your buddy watching a race. As we are 60 to go right now on lap 141. Daniel Moynihan looking to try to get around Eric Papineau as he gets ready to work the high side of Papineau. The 13 of Trent Curtis just kind of lurking around here, waiting for somebody to make a mistake, as coming out of 2 and onto the back chute is Moynihan.
Ooh, man, Moynihan there, that car sure is running on Duncan. It's time to make the donuts, is what they say.
I miss that guy.
Well, hey, I'm going to do a shameless plug real quick. My wife actually sits right above me right now, and she's working hard on making reefs right now. And she has a Facebook page, Creations by Leslie. Go check it out. She hand makes all her reefs. And by all means, if you want a reef, she ships. You can order one. She'll make it for you.
Because I can't make the drive to St. Louis.
Yeah. So, anyways, she ships, and it's good stuff. She started this about about a year ago. So that's her gig going on right now. So definitely check her out.
That's always cool when you get to, you get to use some of that free time. You get to, make something nice, make people happy. I hope what we do here makes people happy. Speaking of making people happy, here's
hello.
Bennett Allen side by side. He can see the whites of the eyes of the 08 of Sylvain Joly as Sylvain gets ready to start cooking the Canadian bacon underneath Bennett Allen as he is trying desperately to get around him now to secure 10th position nice and easy. But Bennett Allen is not going to be put to bed early. They split themselves apart coming down the back chute. We're just about at the wishing hour. 55 laps to go this time by 145 in the books. Drivers are going to start to get desperate to hold on and see how much tire they can use here at the end of this race.
And these tires wear out a lot quicker. It's a smaller tire than what they used to do on the next-gen car that we saw last night. So the tires are going to fall off way faster than these Xfinity cars. Now, what I wish they would do is they tried this at the All-Star race, is do it on alternate tire. Well, you know how the IndyCar has the reds and then the primary tire? So you could do a softer tire for the next-gen car, or you do the primary tires, which what Goodyear usually defaults to.
And see, now you know.
Hey, look, I've become more of a fan of IndyCar.
Finally, Sylvain Joly secures away 10th position in an exciting battle that he just had with Bennett Allen. Bennett Allen letting him know on race radio that was a good battle. Matt White and Mike McConville are starting to gap the rest of the field by nearly 5 seconds over Eugenio Alonso. Here's going to be the thing. Mike McConville's not coming down without having to come down. Matt White isn't going to come down pit road until he has to. Eugenio Alonso knows that he's got nothing for those two guys up in front. The question is, who's going to blink first, McConville or White?
I'm going to say if McConville zigs, White's gonna zag, and if White zags, then McConville's gonna zig.
That's a fair.
They're playing chess. They're playing chess right now, Dave. I hate to tell you this. They're playing chess. They're playing mind games.
There is definitely a lot of, let's just say, mental harassment going on right now.
Enough to land you in HR?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, look. This is like saying, if you can do this, I can do it better. And that's what they're doing. Mike McConville says, you know what? I'm going to put distance on the field, 7 seconds to, or 5 seconds to Alonso. And then Matt White says, you know what? I can do it better than you. I'm going to hang right with you.
Very true story. Just making sure that we get all of these in here. Let me see if I can get this over.
10-4. But right now we're watching Matt McConville and Matt White. Mike McConville and Matt White just put distance. I mean, look, it's insane that there's 5.5 seconds back to Eugenio Alonso. And we're still seeing pit stops commence here. The number 8 car, Alexander Gangler, he's coming out of pit road. John Wilco, he's in pit. Parker Ratzliff, well, I don't know what's going on with him. He entered pit road like he had a problem. But he has not been out yet. Oh, here we go. And now you see the eyeball test between McConville and White is almost a half a second. And you're going to get a pretty good idea of what that eyeball test is going to look like here. As we come down the back straight, there's the eyeball test. And there it is. There's the eyeball test. Bam! A half second. And you got to wonder, is Matt White starting to back off of Mike McConville to save a little bit? That's what we're trying to find out, really.
Yeah, I mean, Matt White has been working behind McConville this entire stage. I mean, since the green flag flew again. And so far, we haven't really seen a whole lot of, I don't want to say progress, but at the same time, Matt White giving plenty of room to McConville. It's almost like he says, listen, I'm going to back up and give you some room. This is going to be your race to lose, but if you make a mistake, I'm all over that butt. As Mike McConville looking back now to Matt White. Can see White here in the rearview mirror, but at the same time, that's going to be a telltale sign of when it's go time, when all of a sudden we watch this 3/4 of a second distance evaporate between White and McConville.
And the other thing too, Dave, is I wonder if Matt's trying to back off because he's got to go pit soon.
Maybe try to squeeze out that little bit of extra fuel to stay on pace with McConville.
I mean, yeah, because if Matt can save enough fuel and Mike's got to dive onto pit road, well, guess what? And here he comes. Here comes Mike McConville right now. The question is, Matt comes with him.
In step with him.
Oh! And I got to wonder, Dave, is that a penalty? Because Matt White sure did lock up the tires.
If that wasn't a penalty, that's going to be as close as it gets. Let's see if he did as we go back here to the replay. Oh, my.
Oh, I don't think he slowed it down in time.
Well, I see him pulling off of pit road now. Let's see if he has to come around and oh, where's McConville coming off of pit road? Let's see if Matt White has to serve that penalty. Stoney Benfield down pit road. Brockton Packard comes down. Eugenio Alonso coming in now. Green flag pit stops underway with 45 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen making himself a surprise visit here to the broadcast booth. Ruth Gardner cheering on the faster pastor. Ruth, I'm glad to have you back this season. As Trent Curtis now cycles up to the lead, he's got Daniel Moynihan and Claude Ferlin in tow. Dennis Mickelson, and now Mike McConville and Matt White are basically just sitting here waiting for these drivers to come down as Trent Curtis is the first to go.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. And you know, whenever Matt White came down for his pit stop, he did slide through the box, so he did back up. He lost time, and you can almost cheat if you know these pit roads and where these timing loops are. You can almost cheat and speed up and slow down a little bit and make up time coming off of pit road.
Right you are, as Mike McConville and Matt White now lurking around waiting for Claude Ferlin to come down pit road. They'll cycle back up here to the lead, but McConville leading White by 2 seconds. That pretty much puts Matt White in the position where he's going to have a caution to get caught up with Mike McConville, because even with 43 laps to go, that's not enough time for Matt White to close the gap between himself and McConville. While those guys try to sort that out, we're going to step aside here, and we're going to hear about the grandfather of Ethan Ball. You're looking at a photo right now of Cecil Ball, grandfather of Ethan Ball, an Xfinity Series driver here. He served from October 2nd, 1942 to November 19th, 1945. He was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Force, or what is now known as the United States Air Force. He was a radio operator, and he served as a navigator and radio operator and waist gunner in the Allied air offensive over Europe during World War II. His B-25 was shot down over the North Sea, where he and the co-pilot survived for 10 hours in the water before being rescued. He was the lone survivor as the co-pilot succumbed to his injuries a few days later. He was awarded the Bronze Star for his service in the European theater. We thank you, Cecil Ball, for serving our country, and you know it's very sad when you hear about being the only survivor out of a tragic accident. You know, which, of course, you know when you're shot down, it's not an accident, but it's an act of war. And fortunately, Ethan is the product of all of this, and Ethan is he's such a great guy, and we cannot be more thankful for Cecil Ball and his service from October 2nd, 1942 to November 19th, 1945.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quick
weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Apromitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trish's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen making a cameo appearance here in the broadcast booth. Mike McConville leads this piece by 1.74 seconds. Now, I said it earlier, and maybe I spoke a little bit too soon, but Matt White is slowly starting to close that gap now to 1.8 seconds.
Well, I had to tell you this, Dave, but the sands of the hourglass are starting to run dry for Matt White. And checking in the YouTube.com live chat, Jordan Brockle, your other, the other person that calls races with you, is
Am I
checking
doing
in.
all right? Man, I'm always doing all right.
Yeah, we're always doing all right. But it's good to see Jordan check in to the YouTube.com live chat, and we say that as Mike McConville checks out, almost back to a 2.5 lead.
Yeah, I mean, McConville's been up here just kind of toying with Matt White, and, you know, White is giving it all that he has. The question is, how much more does he have as they come out of turn number 4? McConville putting the start-finish line back in his crosshairs. That's going to put us 20 to go this time by here in the Xfinity Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking in on your phones, in your homes, however you may be listening, however you may be watching us. Thank you for making us a part of your evening as Mike McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey looks to notch another win into his belt tonight. And, you know, Alan, I know you don't get to hang out with me as much as we would like, but McConville's already got one win on the season. The question is this going to be his next win? As you know, his last was back at Phoenix. Now he's ready to take on Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's no easy track to get around, and then these guys have an off week as the real life Xfinity Series goes to Portland, but Portland's not on the service here, so I think it would be deemed an off week for the series. And you know, as the Cup Series and Truck Series goes to Madison, Illinois, or St. Louis, however you want to spend it. But 19 to go.
St. Louis.
God, I love it. I love it. And look, Mike McConville serving up lunch, you know, to Matt White, and he said in his interview at the end of stage 2 that all bets are off, and not only are all bets off, but he's just like, you know what, I don't have time for you.
Yeah, Mike McConville wants to get to Max Pizza on the Wildwood Boardwalk before everybody else as he comes out of turn 4. 18 laps to go here. Another close battle on the racetrack right now is Trent Curtis, as he is just behind Stoney Benfield. Stoney running in 7th position right now. The only way that this could get more interesting right now, Alan, is if there was a late-stage caution here with now 18 laps to go. That would bunch everybody up and shuffle the field. As Trent Curtis looks to the inside now of Stoney Benfield, he just went from about 2/10 of a second back to now passing Benfield with 18 laps to go.
Yeah, Trent Curtis has been driving one heck of a race, but so is Tony Benfield, the faster pastor, as he is up there battling for top 7 spot there, and he's riding 8th. And I love the leaf filter. I don't have gutter guards in my gutters, but I'm an old school. I get on the ladder with a bucket, clean out the gutters every day.
Well, this is that point in the race where you basically got to sit here and look and wonder, do you have the fuel? Yes. Do you have the grip? For now, yeah, sure. But let's take a look at that track temperature, and I mean, it's 130 degrees. It's only cooled off a pair, and there it is. Here's the caution I was just talking about. That's going to change the dynamic of this race for sure. As, the 07 of Corey Burke, oh my God, gets annihilated by the 17.
Yikes. Did he just get Matt Metler?
He just got, yeah. He got rammed from behind. Little Dr. Longfinger, here it comes. Wow. The car just shatters into a million pieces.
You're probably not going to come back from that one.
Listen, Jesus was nailed to a cross and came back after 3 days, but it took 3 days to do it. I don't think Eric Papineau's coming back from that one.
Well, there's only one guy on the track that did not want to see that forced caution come out, and that's the one car of Mike McConville. As now, that's going to put Matt White to his bumper. And if I'm Matt White, I'm betting you dollars of donuts right now. Look, that car is going to find an extra gear and see some RPMs it hasn't seen yet tonight.
Yeah, I mean, these cars only have 4 gears, but, on a Sunday night, we've got that 5th gear, and something tells me that we're going to be in that neck of the woods.
Yes. I mean, look, Sugarland, when they wrote Stuck Like Glue, that probably would have wrote that song about Mike McConville and Matt White in that 48 car.
Well, 14 laps to go. Mike McConville comes on down pit road. Looks like Chris Claude's going to stay out here for the time being. He's still on the lead lap. He last came down on 147. The question is, does he wind up staying out or does he come back down for pit service?
You know what? I think he might try to get that all-important track position. There's 14 to go, but you're going to not want to see these guys behind you. If you're Sylvain, Brandon Minto, these guys are all going to be on fresh feel goods, and, well, they're going to be damn near qualifying.
Charles Eaton last came down on 151. Claude Ferland on 157. Mike McConville and Matt White just came down for fresh tires here with 14 laps to go. I'm just saying that I feel like Charles Eaton and Claude Ferland are going to have to get out of the way quick, fast, and in a hurry, or suddenly they're going to have to form all but the Berlin Wall to keep back Mike McConville and Matt White.
There ain't nothing keeping those guys back. Look, Charles Eaton and Claude Ferland, they're going to be rolling roadblocks, and from what I've seen out of Mike McConville and Matt White, that ain't going to they ain't going to let that happen too long.
Charles Eaton and Claude Ferland each come down pit road. They decide to get out of the line of fire as McConville and White are going to come up here. Now, a lot of cars in front of them going to get that lap back. With 13 to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, I personally can't see a situation where McConville doesn't suddenly try to spread that thing 4 wide.
Oh, man. Don't get up the wide load sign just yet, but when this thing goes green, hey, he's gonna make a problem for Matt White, especially after the way that second stage ended.
When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Mike McConville, Matt White, Eugenio Alonso, Cody McCorkle, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Jolie, Stoney Benfield, Rich Check, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Bennett Allen, your top 10. Bennett Allen's been trying to recover all night long, and this is go time for him. If he's going to make any kind of a run at the lead, or at least at the podium, this is the time where he's going to drop the hammer and go full send Bennett, that's for sure.
Yeah, he needs to be Bennett, and he needs to be in it. Let me go back to green.
Look at you. You're doing your best. Proud of you.
Hey, you know what? I do what I can. I practice my one-liners, and then I take them back to, you know. Look, you should start copywriting your stuff.
You can steal them. If it helps you be better, go for it.
Oh, man. Well, 13 to go. And, look, we're about to see more action than... Well, I ain't got
more
no
action than a kid on his prom night.
There you go.
Don't worry, I've
Doubled
got
up.
one waiting in the wings. Like I got one waiting for this one.
They come to him in his sleep. As these guys are getting ready to get lined up behind the iRacing.com pace car. Noah's Ark style, 2x2.
I'm so proud of you. It's almost like you're just sitting here learning at the feet of the master.
Everybody was hanging out with Dave.
Look, last night was guaranteed proof that it turns out that hanging out with me for a couple of hours seems to be better than sitting there, you know, staring off into the abyss.
Well, I mean, so look, me and Matt Metler, I love him to death. We were both, like, storm chasing last night while watching a NASCAR race.
Mike McConville following the iRacing.com pace car, and you guys were storm chasing as you were navigating our chief cook and bottle washer here at Sim Racing Media to get back home to Alpena, Michigan. As Mike McConville is just kind of keeping it steady. They are racked, stacked, and ready to go all over again. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Mike McConville leads us into the Geico restart zone as we come right past that bus stop. He drops the hammer. Uh-oh, Matt White. Yo! That's going to be a black flag on Matt White.
I don't
know what the rules were, but Matt White looked like he absolutely jumped the start and crossed the start-finish line before Mike McConville. Those two drivers are off like a prom dress coming through turns 3 and 4. 11 laps to go now. McConville holding Matt White behind him. Here he comes out of turn 4 back to the start-finish line. 11 laps to go, 10 now as we cross the line.
Something bad's going to happen here. 10 laps to go. Don't look now. Here comes that 78 of Cody McCorkle. Oh, Mike McConville just gave up the inside. And, Matt White has got a draft going on, but he's falling back. He's bleeding in position.
Matt White is hemorrhaging. Oh, he did. He got the black flag. He's going to come down pit road. That leaves Mike McConville up here to defend his position from Eugenio Alonso. Matt White, with a little too heavy of a foot on the restart, has to serve the black flag. That should just be a drive-through. We're going to take a look here and see if this is a drive-through penalty or if this is a full stop.
It's a drive-through.
It's a drive-through, so he's going to stay on the lead lap for the time being. That's going to make him frustrated, more frustrated than Keebler Elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer as Mike McConville hauls the mail out of turn 1 or down turn 1 and out of the quad oval. McConville, Alonso, McCorkle, a couple of Max and Alonso.
So
I don't think I can.
Is that? I mean, look.
3 wide they go. Look at this. Gabriel Lafreniere, the high side. Oh, my goodness. All of a sudden, everybody has decided this is go time. Bennett Allen works the low side just in front of Sylvain Joly. He's got the 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere on the high side. The Canadian contingent runs strong with these. As Sylvain Joly in the 08 is looking for help from a teammate. They're all over the rear bumper of Bennett Allen. We're here in the Goodyear blimp just above the racetrack. Allen, all of a sudden, these drivers are full send.
Full send indeed. Holy cow. This is amazing right here. And I love the blimp, except for that screen, Dave. We got to get... Look. We got to figure out how to fly the thing over the racetrack. I think maybe it might be a no-fly zone on the infield, but hey.
I couldn't operate a Prius right now, much less the blimp.
I mean, you're doing pretty good, though.
Yeah, you just wait until we get off the air and all of a sudden the slurs come all the way out. But by slurs, I don't mean anything bad. I mean, I'm holding together my speech for the time being as Mike McConville, with 5 laps to go, crosses the start-finish line. He's holding back Eugenio Alonso.
But for how long?
Well, long enough, at least for the next 5 laps.
5 phalanges in the air. We're coming to 4 to go, though. Look. Phalanges, yes.
Brockton Packard working to the inside of Aaron Mack in a battle for 12th position. He's trying to get up here to where Bobby Moynihan is. Daniel Moynihan. Bobby Moynihan is the fat guy from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, you got to go back to the 80s for Saturday Night Live. 80s and 90s. That was my time. That was when Saturday Night Live was
Oh my God! There they go! Whoa! There goes the 43.
Is it gonna pop off? We're going NASCAR overtime, maybe? No?
Nope, we stay green.
Woo!
Let's watch that again here. As we're going to go right to the blimp once again. As the chopper cam just happened to be right over top of that. Here's Moynihan rubbing into the 43. The 43 gets sideways, but manages to keep it steady just in front of the 63 of Brockton Packard. Packard winds up running away here with 13th position. My God. What a run. Eugenio Alonso now your race leader. What in the world happened here? Let's see. As he just got around McConville while we were looking at that near miss. 2 laps to go. The popsicle sticks are in the air.
Oh, boy. Popsicle sticks.
Eugenio Alonso with a clean pass around McConville. And now Eugenio Alonso with 2 laps to go leads Mike McConville by 1/4 of a second. Cody McCorkle running in third, almost a full second behind Eugenio Alonso. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers.
Oh, boy. 1 lap to go. Eugenio Alonso drove probably the race of his career. And, he stole that position away from Mike McConville.
He didn't just steal the position. He stole the win away from Mike McConville. Eugenio Alonso won the green and white checkered flag at the end of stage number 1. Mike McConville running P2 as they come out of turn 4 into the quad oval. Eugenio Alonso wins the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's followed on the podium by Mike McConville and Cody McCorkle. A pair of Max follows Alonso. Sylvain Jolie and Brandon Minto make up your top 5 with Bennett Allen, Rich Jedd, Daniel Moynihan, Stoney Benfield, and Gabriel Lafreniere your top 10.
Man, what a race. And, the person that is probably kicking himself the hardest right now is Matt White, who made that huge mistake on the last restart.
Yeah, somebody needs to be checking on Matt White tonight. Eugenio Alonso celebrating here on the start-finish line in the number 26. One of the most talented drivers in this league as he goes ahead and burns the house down, fills the cockpit with smoke.
Wow.
He deserves every bit of this celebration.
Yes, he does. I'm pretty sure that if you could just burn it down until the tires caught fire, he would do that. Just put it up on the wall and just smoke the tires. Oh, man. Eugene Alonso. And unfortunately, it's so unfortunate for Matt White on that last restart. And, Dave, I would almost... Oh, man.
Eugenio Alonso, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Hey, Dave. What's up, man?
Eugenio, congratulations, man. You pick up another win on the season here. What a night you had.
Yeah, it was a great race. This last caution helped me a lot. Mike and Matt We are really fast in long run. We made a great adjustment to the last short run, and the car was great in short run.
Yeah, that's one heck of an adjustment. I mean, whatever you did to the car there obviously saved you because you had just enough time and came out in a surprise move. Of course, after Matt White got the black flag, you wind up passing Mike McConville like he was standing still with just a few laps to go. Man, what was the move? What was the change that you made here at the end of this race?
I changed the tire pressures and springs, left rear and right rear springs to the end, and was really great. Sean Buwalda give me the adjustments and works really great.
Well, that's team racing for sure. As of course, you know, Bawalda being able to whisper that into your ear when you come down pit road. Next week, of course, we have a week off. So with that week off, who do you need to thank now for this run tonight, and who do you need to shout out tonight?
To the team, to sponsors, Nitro Racing. This guy build a great set every week, and I'm in front because them. And admin box, a lot of cleaner and JDM team. Thanks for him.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations. Enjoy the week off, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Sonoma.
Thank you, brother. I hope talk to you in the next race.
Absolutely. Once again, congratulations. Next up on the podium tonight, finishing second. Oh, come on. Why can't I drag you? There we go. Finishing second on the podium tonight, Mike McConville. Mikey Mack, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, man. How we doing?
I mean, I'm doing good, but, you know, I'm a little sad for you because, of course, I'm always pulling for my boy from South Jersey. I thought you were going to be having a celebratory slice of pizza over at Max and Wildwood, but here you are finishing P2.
I am so heartbroken. This thing tonight that I gave the TCR team was an absolute rocket ship from the start to the middle to the end. This thing belongs to be in victory lane, and it's the potato that behind the wheel that slipped once and let Alonso get around me.
I mean, look, if anything, you can at least go to bed tonight thinking Alonso raced you pretty clean there at the very end.
Oh, yeah, dude. He and I, since the beginning of the season, we've raced each other very hard, but it's always been very clean. So no issues with him, man. But, man, I just, I feel like Pato yesterday. I just want to
get it.
I just want to climb in my closet, pretend it's a cockpit, and just cry for a little while.
Buddy, I get it. Listen, you nearly had this one wrapped up, and I mean, you know, still, you know, you and your teammate both finished on the podium tonight, but, you know, unfortunately finishing just a little bit too far behind Eugenio Alonso, whose car at the very end of this thing seemed like it was on rails. And, you know, boom goes the proverbial dynamite, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank, and who helps you get it done on the one team?
First off, I want to thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast. I cannot wait. Not any bias or anything, but I can't wait to go back and watch this one and see this absolute bullet of a number one car lead however many laps I was in the lead today. I want to thank Chris for putting on this great lead, giving everyone the opportunity to show what they're made of. Thank Mom and Dad. They're out there watching in internet land. Thank everyone back at the TCR shop. They're always supporting me. And when I lost that lead, man, they were my biggest cheerleaders those last few laps. And I couldn't do it without them.
Trust me, I get it, man. I do. Well, listen, man, congrats here on the P2 finish. I'm sorry that you didn't get the checkered flag, but there's always next week. That's what we say in Philadelphia sports. You know the drill. So we'll see you in 2 weeks at Sonoma.
Yes, sir. We'll suck it up the rest of the night and then tomorrow we'll start focusing on Sonoma.
My man. See, there's a guy who doesn't let things get him down, that's for sure. Alan, I believe you have with you now Cody McCorkle, driver the number 78.
Cody McCorkle, this is Dave and Alan up in the SRM booth. How's it going, bub?
Oh man, that thing was pretty wild there at the end. I had a pretty good view of it.
Well, look, you had a front row seat to that show there, that number 78 Valvoline sponsored Chevrolet, and had that thing gone the right way for you, what would have been your strategy to getting around?
Well, I think me and Mike were pretty similar there.
Mike McConville, yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been a bit of a struggle to get around him, but it's just a little bit too tight there. That last 10 laps probably needed a little bit more. Man, I was right there the whole race. It felt like just couldn't quite get up there to probably the top two, but I just felt like the whole race I was just watching them. It was pretty frustrating from there. That thing was an absolute rocket.
Well, we got next week. You guys got the week off. And then we had the wine country out there in Sonoma. What's your thoughts about Sonoma, and what's your approach going to be like as we head west?
Yeah, it's a tough swing. Got to get some practice in, some time for that road course probably. It'll be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll see what happens. If you play your cards right, anything can happen, right?
Well, before we let you go, is there anybody that you'd like to thank to help get you here tonight?
Huge shout out to the TCR guys, man. Like I said, I thought this thing was a rocket ship from start to finish. Just a little bit of a handling here and there. We probably could have got up there, but man, it was crazy. Huge shout out to you guys and everybody that puts on the show here.
For sure. And, like I said, we'll see you. If I'm not wrong, we'll see you at least in St. Louis on Sunday, right?
Yeah, that should be the plan.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on rounding out the podium, and we'll see you here in the Midwest.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that, Alan. As we wrap up our podium interviews, it's been quite a night here in the from the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth as Cody McCorkle goes on back to his race chat. Alan, you caught a good race tonight here on a whim, and you saw a great finish.
Yeah, and boy, these guys are just so talented, and I just love catching. Like you said earlier, it's not very often that we get to work together, but holy cow, when we do, it's never disappointing. And,
every stop gets pulled out on this organ, that's for sure. And, tonight we see Eugenio Alonso. We had 2 international competitors in the top 4, 3 altogether in the top 10. I mean, that's an incredible feat in and of itself in this league. And I mean, this league is, at least for my money, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity series is among the best on the iRacing.com server.
I mean, you're not wrong. And I'm so glad that we got to see some great racing tonight. But hey, look, next week you're headed to St. Louis with the SNN Stacy Strong Cup Series, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So if I hop in with a frosty cold Budweiser, don't be shocked.
Had to go there with the Budweiser. Well, listen, one final time we want to take a peek here at our final results. Eugenio Alonso from Buenos Aires captures the checkered flag. He's joined on the podium by Mike McConville and Cody McCorkle. Sylvain Joly and Brandon Minto round out your top 5, while Bennett Allen finishes in 6th. 7th goes to Rich Jett with Daniel Moynihan, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, and Gabriel Lafreniere rounding out your top 10. Charles Eaton finishes in 11th, while 12th position goes to Aaron Mack. Brockton Packard brings home 13th position honors, with 14th going to Trent Curtis. Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Chris Claude finishes in 15th, just ahead of Claude Ferlin in 16th, with Dennis Mickelson and Zachary Vaughn in 17th and 18th. Alexander Gangler finishes with the 8 team in 19th position, and rolling out the top 20 is Matt White after serving that black flag here in the latter stage of the race as he was battling it out with race winner with P2 finisher Mike McConville. Dan Morgan finishes in 21st with McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco. Ron Fitting comes home in 23rd with Tony Burt in 24th. 25th is John Bawalda with 26 going to Eric Papineau. Corey Burkett, Zach Osborne, Steve Herring, Parker Retzlaff, Ethan Ball, and Michael Witt all finish 29th through 32nd, with Anthony Savignano, Kavaja Holt, Keith Black, Nick Hansen, Richard Pruitt, and Sam Bolin finishing in 38th position. Just 38 cars took the green flag, but the one that matters most, of course, is our race winner, Eugenio Alonso, who gets the number 26 across the line first, ahead of Mike McConville from Cape May, New Jersey. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on the YouTube.com live chat, making sure that you check in with us. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to Sim Racing Media. And, of course, we want to thank you for making us a part of your night, for letting us into your homes and onto your phones. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we thank you for your time tonight. And tomorrow, as you go through the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.